We are following breaking reports of widespread. I just don't understand how anyone can think that.
Just hours before the U.S. government was set to shut down, the Senate passed a bill to...
Wait a minute. We have some questions.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Not the Authority podcast. I'm Sarah. This is my co-host Shandell, and today with us we have Enia Udomah, and he lives in the same city that I do, which is Blaine, Minnesota, and he ran for city council in 2024, and I connected with him back then to try to figure out how I could help support his campaign and to see if he was running again this year in 2026. And he's not, but we invited him to come on and tell us his story of the experience to help other people who want to run in the future, and also catch up with him and see what kind of community work he's been up to lately. So I'll let Eni tell his story. And the first question that we have for him is basically, why did you run for city council?
Thank you guys for having me once again. It's good to be here with you guys. Hello, everybody. My name is Enia Udomah. In 2024, I ran for the Blaine City Council Ward 2 seat. The reason why I got into the race is it's kind of a funny story. I didn't envision myself getting into the race. Originally, what happened, I was approached by my friend Kales, she's involved in local politics around the city, around the state. And she approached me asking me if I wanted to run in this seat against Leslie Larson. And now Leslie Larson, she is the councilwoman now. And before that election in 2023, she ran in a special election, and they were originally trying to defeat her. And they asked me to run because I gave a speech in favor of recreational legal weed in Minnesota. That was in 2023. But since then, I've kind of kept up, not been too involved as much as that in experience, but I got involved with that. And then originally, we asked my friend Amma to do it, but she didn't live in the right boundary at the time. We had an outdated map. And with the last day coming up and Leslie Larson, she was running for re-election, nobody was going to run against her. It was just, if I didn't do it, it was going to be else. And I couldn't stand to see her, somebody with like those views running that kind of campaign. I couldn't see that just at least go unopposed. So I just put my hat in the ring.
Is that like that moment when you decided or when you realized like, hey, it's going to be me or nobody? Like what was kind of going through your head at that point?
In my head, in my heart of hearts, I knew it was like, if I was anybody else telling somebody else, oh, should I run or shouldn't I not? I would have told them, go for it. What's like the worst that could happen? So I just knew then, like, it's just like, if I knew it was wrong for somebody else not to do it, if they had the opportunity, then why should I like at least not try? At least, oh yeah. And also I knew myself that I had the good ideas. I could be I've never envisioned myself as like a politician or anybody saying like that. But like, I knew like I could at least be genuine and like for the community in that role.
Yeah. So actually, the deadline just passed, and I noticed that nobody is running in my ward
Yeah,
again
I
unopposed.
saw
The
that.
person is unopposed, and I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh man, I should have done it." And if I'm going to do it next year, if that's another
Yes.
situation like that.
Hmm.
And that's really the reason why we have this podcast, is because like just regular people need to figure out what we're going to do to help out, because there are people who have a lot of money behind them and special interests that are not for the community, and they're winning constantly, and we need to
Exactly.
figure out how to unseat them. And I was so excited when I saw your campaign. My neighbor had your sign in his yard, so I started looking it up, and I was just like, okay, yes, this is somebody who wants, I think you were running on the platform of you want a community center built
Yes.
on the side of town that is underinvested in, right? And the
Hmm.
money, the way the politics are working in our county right now, or our city, all of the money is going kind of towards corruption and, economic development, right? But they're taking it away from like the people in the projects that really need it, so that the mayor can build a baseball restaurant by the sports center and they can get tourism dollars. And it's been in the news. Okay, so my next question is about challenges that you've had. And, one of the things that caught my eye in the news when this was all going on was before you ran, there was one other progressive person who had a seat on the council, and all of the other city council members were ganging up against her and like trying to fight her in the parking lot and stuff, right? So, it's not a surprise that you didn't win, but then also if you would have won, it would have been a really contentious situation for you also,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
I'm curious, this is a little bit of drama, local local city council drama. I'm curious, were you intimidated by that? Were you aware of what was going on? And what challenges from the opposition did you run into while you were doing your campaign? And then also, if they weren't challenges from the opposition, you can also cover that as well.
Yeah. Wow, this could be a whole nother episode. But so when I originally got into the race, my campaign team was built out of me and my close friends that served as my campaign manager, and like they ran my finances and the social media and all that stuff. It was just me and my close group of friends, like against the world basically. But I was way in over my head when I first got into this. Couldn't imagine how just like, what's the word? Just how like complex this whole thing was as I was going on to it. Cause as I said before, when I jumped into the race, I jumped in like, I didn't even like, if you asked me like a day before, are you going to run in this race? I'd be like, oh, not like, why would I do it? It's going to be like my friend Amma. But here I am running in this campaign that I had no like prior, like even just like intention of doing. So I had to like put together a plan and all that stuff like that. And also I have to start doing like, I guess, research about like who I'm running against. Cause at this time I just knew Leslie through the news. I didn't really know anything about her for myself or anything like even like the other city council members. If had I been elected, working with them or stuff like that, I just knew more about what was kind of like going on. But I guess some challenges at first were just like getting organized at first. We had to lean on a bunch of like, just like names to like reach out to figure out like, oh, how do we get ourselves started? Like, I've never like I'm interested in politics. I keep up with politics, but like there's like politics that we hear about, but then there's like the politics of like, oh, like doing the politicking, getting the campaign going. And so I had no idea about that stuff. I had to find somebody to help me or give me advice about starting a bank account for that. I can't, I'm not listening, complying with campaign finance laws, all that stuff, as well as branding myself, building a campaign with issues that are with issues that are important to the community that resonate with me and also resonate with that I could see making a positive resonation with the people in Blaine. As time went on, it was kind of like me trying to like break into, because at the end of the day, like people in the city council, they're very like they have the resources to be more involved in the community. They're more established. They're like they have businesses. They are well established. Not established. Okay, let me rephrase that. They're established in a different way than I have been in the community, as with a different way of doing it. So therefore, I was an outsider per se, trying to get my way into because they're all like friends. They all like go to the same events, the same like openings, the same just community events. So they all talk to each other. It just felt like a kind of a club, for lack of a better term. And so it was just like navigating my way through that. At the same time, branching myself out and putting myself out there in a way that is authentic to myself and as well as will reach the most people possible to get this message out there. At the same time, because like I really wanted my campaign to be the voice of like the younger people in Blaine, even though because like most of the time they can't really vote, like under 18 people, but there's still a community. They still live here too, as well as just our young adults and people who like people my age. I'm 24, but at the time I was 22, 23 doing it. People my age who are in Blaine a lot, they have they live here, whatever, they work here, they do whatever here, but still they feel like as if there's not a place for them or the community is not like at least trying to cater to them too, not like fully, but like there's something for them too. It's either one part or none. You have to go like for like a community center. We have to go to like we have to go to different cities in Andover or Shoreview to go to their community center. When we have the perfect amount of space, resources, and interest to have that here. But as more challenges went into that, such as building a platform, which I was proud of and honest of. And I was proud of the platform I built. I thought it was genuine for the time, and I thought it would do really good had I been elected and had time to implement it. But there was also some pushback, such as like they would second guess my age, my inexperience, like lack of political inexperience. They'd also just like they would just like push me aside just because of who I was. I'm not involved. I'm not like I don't have like any backing to my name. I don't have a title. So it was just like convincing people that I am perfectly competent enough as the person who's on the city council now, or anybody on city council for that matter, in doing the work and getting what I advocating for what I want to be done. In terms of actually advocating for myself and putting myself out there, it was kind of challenging, just especially on like on social media such as Facebook. There's this very infamous story that if I had my campaign manager Nana in here, he would tell you all about just like dealing with it, where around the time, like it was around September, other candidates in other races such as county commission and just like state house, state senate, and even other city council races, people were posting about putting signs up in their group chat, and not the group chat, in the group forum. And so I myself decided to do that myself, but my post was taken down by the group admins. And
Wow.
so I asked why, if I like broken a rule such as like I don't know if there was like rules about self promotion or like something like business, because I did look before I did it just to make sure, because I know there's people like with like that political stuff, it gets like people just trying to get their name out there. But
Mhm.
I did look, and I even kind of formatted my post after the first post I saw just to make sure, because at that point it had been up for a day and a half. So I was like, okay, can we just like, for lack of a term, just like not copy it, but like just write what they said in my own like and to put it out there just to make sure it's safe. And I did that, and still got taken down. And I asked why, and I asked the admin, which I'm not going to name just but because it got kind of messy. But I DM'd an admin and asked what rule did I break, because it said I broke like rule 6, which I can't recall what it was, but I asked him. He said it wasn't me who like deleted your post, and I was like, oh, that's not the question I asked. Could you ask like, can I just want to know what rule I broke? And then originally it it just went back and forth for a while. And then I wasn't gonna say anything at first, and I was like, okay, maybe see if I can figure it out. Maybe I just broke a rule, and then I can repost, and it would be fine. And then I didn't get a response for 24 hours. At that point, my campaign manager Nana, he advised me just like make a statement about it, because at the end of the day, the other campaigns posts were still up. For instance, like Leslie Larson, she had a post up. Anoka County Commissioner had a post up, and a bunch of other just like in the Blaine who just have interest in Blaine posting in that group chat. They were still up, and so I was like, okay, let me make a post, because at that point I felt it was basically a censoring. I felt censured because
Yeah.
why am I the only person who was not allowed to have a post up here? I'm running in Blaine. I'm relevant to Blaine. Other people are doing the same thing, so why am not allowed? Not why am I not allowed that same like privilege? So I did make a post. And then the person finally DMs me back and says that at this point, I will there. He accuses me of being one of the progressive city council member Lori Soroya's one of her people, which I didn't know what that meant at the time. I like,
No.
and it being like, because like that controversy we were talking, like you were talking about earlier, he accused me of being one of those trying to agitate the group chat, because there was a whole bunch of drama with that, which I you probably know already. So he accused me being one of them, and then I'm just saying like I'm my own campaign, because she was running her own reelection at the time too. But I'm my own campaign. I'm just trying to put my name out there and see. I'll show people that what I have to say compared to Leslie, knowing people that there's another option, because she at that point she was more established than I am. She's on the city council for life's sakes, and I'm just trying to put my name out there. And then it turns into all that. He was going to start. He says that if I don't get, because I had when I posted, people saw that, and that's a serious accusation, censure. So people in the group started saying in the group chat, like people who were supportive of me, that like this was wrong. And I had some friends, some supporters that DM me saying that they were banned and removed from that group chat just because people were posting. And even that admin, he was talking about that people were posting like heinous things about them, saying that they were just like bad people for like censoring me and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I wonder why they're upset, because I've said, like, for instance, like I still to this day, I don't know why I had my post taken down. They never clarified what rule I broke. So I can only make the scene that somebody like, not to like just like bring up these like start rumors on it, but like it's just convoluted. It's like, why only my post, nobody else was taken down. And we finally did get to a point where he said that no more political posts would be allowed in general, which was, for one, wasn't true. But then for a time, all the political posts got taken down. But there was one post around this time. I was doing an interview. North Metro TV was doing interviews of the local candidates for mayor, city council, just like across Anoka County. And Leslie Larson posted about hers in that group chat. And you know how you can like, whenever on Facebook, you can like quote, like you could post and then like quote post somebody else's post.
Yeah.
That's what he did in the Facebook group chat. And so it was just like, when I saw that, I was just like, that just, when I knew, I was just like, that's when I kind of knew it was like, this is bigger than like, just like,
Yeah.
this is like, vote for me, so-and-so. This is like, it's bigger than like, there's more to it.
Yeah. How did you respond to that? Like, what other areas of like media are getting around the messaging? Like, were you able to pursue knowing that you were being like censored in like the community group on Facebook?
Yeah. With Facebook, which is the problem too, Facebook, for like, especially with like voters in Blaine, that's the biggest medium for reaching out to people in Blaine. Cause it's just like everybody on Blaine, most people who like live in Blaine are able to vote in Blaine are on Facebook. So that's one medium that's totally out the door. That's like a very, very important tool to like just reaching out into our marketing campaign. So we had to resort to more so like, I guess it's word of mouth. Like around that time, and then the whole censoring thing, we were telling people to like, just like try to repost our stuff, like spread the word that like this has happened, as well as like we tried going on Instagram Reels just to reach like other people. We started putting out like ads on like buying ads on Facebook and Instagram. And I forgot the other ones. Oh yeah, we even utilized like, sometimes you get those like spam texts of like, oh, vote for me, like just like that. We even utilized that just to like try to like block this, because Facebook was like, before this all happened, Facebook was like, we're probably like 80% of our like social media, like just time like engaging with people was on like social, like this, and especially in that group chat, which was like, I think at the time it had like 30,000 people in it. So it was just like that. And I eventually like, I wasn't like, people were getting banned from this group chat, but I personally wasn't banned, and neither was my official campaign account. And eventually I did post in there again, and it was like kept up this time, because people slowly, like I said, like he said, like no more political posts. Other campaigns started posting in it. And at first I didn't, but then I was like, I'm going to try this again. If it happens again, then like I'm going to be more direct with this person. Cause at the same time, like me doing this, like, I didn't know, like, not didn't know what I was doing, but like, this is my first time ever in like a situation like this, like presenting myself in this way, like running for anything like this publicly. I didn't know how to like, not interact with these people, but like, I just didn't know like truly like what I know now. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Well,
like,
there's no playbook, right? So you're just
there's no
running with
playbook.
what you're experiencing and hoping that you're responding in the right way.
Yeah. Cause I'm not trying to like, I'm not trying to burn any bridges. That's how my whole operation, like, that's how I was going through this. I was trying not to burn any bridges, and I wasn't trying to make any enemies, because at the end of the day, like, me and my friends, like, we are just, well, at this time, like, most of us were in college at this time, just like running for city council. We had other commitments. We didn't, like I said before, we didn't have the resources. We're not as established as these people. We don't know, like, how, like, this is going to go, especially, like, it's just like a bull versus like a mouse or something like that. We don't know how, like, we just don't know where we are. It's just like, that whole situation was just messy. And then eventually I did post in that group chat, and it did stay up until the election. This is probably about like 2 weeks before the election. So at that point, like, we were already we were also meeting people, like going out, door knocking, all that stuff, going to like hosting community events, like stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff we did in person too, but like Facebook would have been real nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think especially like post pandemic, like that's where a lot of people feel comfortable building community and sharing their voices. And so I can definitely see how like being censored on like that, huge platform really could have held you back.
Yeah. And I will say, sorry, I will say there, cause like after, like with my experience with that too, there was also an even bigger, like, not covert. There was also a bigger campaign of like just hate against Lori Sawyer to the progressive councilwoman there, which to the point where like people were like monitoring, like every time like I would go on there, I'd be like, oh, there's a Lori sign at so and so like corner on the street, just like, oh, Lori Sawyer's like just stalking her, saying like, oh, here she is putting signs up so, like at this place, and it's just like this is really, it's like it's weird. Like that's all you can
Yeah.
say. It's weird.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
weird.
a real problem, and I
Mm.
noticed that, and that's why I started paying such close attention, right? Because there's an organized like effort of cronyism basically going on to like keep progressive people like out of city council and representation of the city. And that's yeah, it's really unfair and it's really crossed a lot of lines too, like, beyond just a political battle.
Yes.
And, I'm not surprised you had certain challenges being young. Like we are close to 40 and one thing that I've learned getting older is that your network, your peer networks develop because you meet more people, but then also the people that start holding more positions of power and stuff, right? So it's a lot easier to hold on and share that power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Facebook thing, that is so important because people of all ages are there, especially in our city. They're pretty active.
Mm-hmm.
So that really brings up some questions about, yeah, like how do we make campaigning more fair? And, what laws did they potentially break too with some of the stuff that they were doing? I mean, I don't think you're supposed to threaten violence against a sitting city council member. And I think that it's really interesting that you walked into that situation and you didn't know what was going on with Lori Soroya, because
Mm-hmm.
I really feel for what she's had to deal with during her
Yeah.
time there,
Yeah.
and all she's trying to do is just, not sign off on something that's obviously corrupt, right? And, it brings up
Yes.
questions of like, how can we speak out safely? Yeah, there's so much to say.
Yeah, because we've even like scratched the surface on like the hoarding that like $1.5 million scam around August, if you remember. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, can
Like,
you go into that because not everybody else knows about that.
yeah. Okay, so around like August, this is August of 2024 when the story broke, but this happened the year before, or in the past year before that, leading up to that. So basically, that there was something at the city, they fell victim to some sort of like email, just like sketchy email, and
Oh, yeah.
sent um they sent $1.5 million to some scammers, and then
Oh my
they
gosh.
the real company that the work was being done for, when they asked for the money because they hadn't received it, they sent another $1.5 million to make compensate them for the work they actually did. And they didn't. The thing is, they were kind of putting this behind closed doors for like a year until it just broke. I didn't even know, like I had no idea, because I was just at the park. I was just walking at the park, and then like I was on Facebook and I seen like from Care 11, city of Blaine fallen for a $1.5 million scam, and I was like shocked. I was like, oh wow, a year. So it begs like, it just like, and also even to this, like after that whole, like I think that situation was handled like atrociously, because like there was no official city response, or at least no loud one from what I can remember, because I would have remembered something. But like there's no official city response. Nobody said anything. There was nothing like elaborated on. There was no transparency. And it was kind of just like, in my opinion, kind of like not swept under the rug, but just like pushed away, when like there was some like, that's an egregious like misuse of taxpayer funds. And even like whatever happened, like, because at the end of the day, we still fully don't know what happened. They should at least be open up about it, and into what exactly transpired, whether it was malicious or not. They should at least say what happened and be loud about it, because that's when you misuse like taxpayer, like when you misuse public trust, the
Yeah,
apology
that's
should
a
be
lot
louder.
of money. And I guess if you
Yes.
only have people who are on city council who are like running like high dollar businesses, then for them, maybe they don't understand the importance of $1.5 million and how far that
Hmm.
can go. But like that definitely needs to be reported to the constituency.
As soon
How
as
did you
possible.
feel about it? So that was in the middle of your campaign when that came out?
Yes. Yeah.
How did you like, were you asked to like respond to how you would have acted in that? Like,
I remember like when that first happened, I pulled up a plan to, not pulled, I'm like, got together and made a plan just like to be more transparent with like stuff like that, and be more upfront with like public funds, and like like for instance, like receipts and like just like services the city uses. They should be more upfront with that. and like
Yeah.
just have a more portal. I can't remember the actual plan, but like it was just me like have the city council have more integrity and just rebuild that trust, because at that point it was broken with the other stuff, the other accusations going on too. There's a lot of stuff going on, but
It's a lot.
mhm, at the same time, I feel like I would like if I was on the city council when it happened, I would have been like, we have to tell something. Maybe I don't know if it was like against, like if I could have said anything or whatever, but like I would have said something like out loud, because it's you gotta like that's people like when you're in like a public service, it's not like a business, it's a public service. People's like tax money, and it's other things like people's like hard earned money too at that is going to what you've been chosen to use this stuff in a responsible way, and stuff like that happens. The least you can do is be upfront about it at the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to link to some of these news articles because there are a lot of them in our evidence section on our website. So if anybody's interested in like actually getting, clear on what we're talking about, those will be there for you. So, okay. I mean, my next question was, what did you learn? But I mean, it sounds like you learned a lot. And,
Yes.
I mean, what I learned just watching this whole situation unfold is just like how irresponsible, stewards of our community are, right? And, it shouldn't be hard
Hmm.
to run on a platform of integrity and win, but here we are. So I guess I'll ask you the next question, and that is, what recommendations do you have? Okay, so say I decide to run in 2028. What would you tell me to do?
If you decided to run in 2028, I would first like say like work on how you present yourself, as well as like learning to articulate your ideas, and like because people are gonna that's one thing I didn't know too. People are gonna push back on you. People are gonna like ask you questions and stuff like that, and you it's like it's not like you won't have all the answers, sure, and that's not expected of you. You won't have everything. Nobody can have the all answers, but you should at least like know like decisively what you stand for, what you're going for, like front and back, as well as just general like just like speaking up for yourself, just learning how to talk in public and just like that, because you will be talking and stuff like that. Because like running a campaign, like especially, and like also build a team that is like not everybody's going to be the most skilled in everything. Like we can't all expect to find somebody who's going to like, oh, I know finance, I know like stuff like that, but build a team who is at least willing to pay attention to details, who's also has a belief in like the message too, because you can't just be like, you actually have to believe that you can do it. You can't just be like, oh, let me just hang on until it's over. No, you actually have to believe, because like if there's not at least hope or like faith in like what you're doing, then why are you doing it? Especially for something like this, because like if I truly like, even if I like when I first jumped in, the way I jumped in, if I truly didn't think that like I could like at least do something good from this, or at least have hope in it, then why would I do it in the first place? At least like try as hard as I tried. Also, try to, when building a campaign, know, like, talk to people, listen, because at the end of the day, like, you might not know what's going on in your community. Like, somebody brings up, you be like, or like, even just a different perspective or different view. Because, like, there's people who, like, when I was in Blaine, just going around talking to people, I visited like 5,000 houses or like doors or whatever. And the people would just have stories about places that we pass by every day, or like just like how things used to be, how things ought to be. Just like you'll hear so many things, just and this is like take that all in, like treasure it, because it really it informs like a worldview of like what you want like Blaine to be, or anything you're running for it to be. It really just helps to have like another opinion, and just like because other people live there too. Like my campaign slogan was Blaine for one, Blaine for all. Like one person lives in Blaine, but it's all like one person is just one person. You're one person, I'm one person, but it's for all of us, as well as, and then another thing is make sure to just stick to what you believe in. At the same time, don't like compromise yourself for like more donations from like just for resources like that. Don't give up anything like that, especially if you hold it near and dear, because that's very important too. That's because some of the reasons why we're like in such a situation like this. This is like, do not compromise yourself for just like some short-term gains or money or whatever. It's not worth it. As well as there's like a lot I could say.
You
'Cause, like,
mentioned
it's
that you and your team were all in college at the time, about, like, the time commitment for the campaign for you. Do you feel like you guys had, an accurate understanding of how much of your time it was gonna take? Like, was it all consuming? Like, what would you did the you who said, "Okay, I'll do this," on that last day have any concept of what that decision meant for, like, the time that you were gonna spend over the next several months?
no. I actually
Yeah.
I that's one of the things too. Know how much, like that's another thing I would say for advice. This is a time-consuming thing, especially, like it's so time-consuming, especially just, like, the whole process of everything. I really like, that was one thing that I was kind of, like, not shocked. I shouldn't have been shocked as I was, but, like, it really took up every, like, time. Even, like, when I was, like, because I was working a job in the summer at the time. After that job, I would just go out and, like, we either go to meetings with my team, go out and door knock, or go to events, or, like, just whatever, just trying to figure something out for the campaign. And then when school started, had to quit the job, but still do the campaign. So it was just between school and campaign. And it was just figuring out, just balancing it all is crazy. But like the time, just it's very time consuming, especially just the door knocking too, because like you can only get so far like on your own 2 feet going through a neighborhood, especially in like Blaine, it's the suburbs. Like there's a lot of space between those houses. It's very like time consuming, but like it's also like that's also like another thing too. Campaigns they factor in time and it's word I think like effort and energy or like resources and stuff like that. It's just like just balancing those things out to make sure you get maximum resource use with the time you have. And I'm proud like looking back on it, I'm proud of with what we did with what we knew with all that we could because we learned a lot like especially like doing it all by ourselves like nobody did it for us. That's what we can say and we can be proud of that. Like but like going back on it now, if I were to do it again, or if I was doing it again this year, time would been we would have factored time better.
So I'm curious, how many people did you need to have on your team and what did they do?
I had a core of 3 people, so at first, it started I didn't get all these people at once. It kind of just built out that way. My first, the person who I originally wanted to run for city council, Ama, who we thought was gonna do it, she became my first campaign. Well, she was my she was my campaign manager the whole time, but like she took on the responsibilities of just my being my campaign manager. It's just me and her for a while, and then we had our friend, mutual friend, Dongmo. He went to school for finance and I actually offered like I can keep track of like just like your books and make sure everything's up to date and make sure you're in track with like with all the like just the relevant laws and stuff like that. And so he joined the team and then we also Alma's brother Nana, he is also like he's very interested in the politics too. And he joined the team kind of last, but like he became kind of like a co-campaign man. Like him and Amma bounced out the role. He because Amma got more busy with school at the time and he had more free time. So he just joined my team as my co-campaign manager. And so I was like with me and then those 3, like I think like including yourself, a team of 4 is probably good enough. I know there's probably like variations of like what people do. We all split like besides our core function out like duties, we all split the work pretty evenly. Dongmo was mainly like finance, money wise, and that's like a lot as it is. So between like like just like scheduling things, making orders, like buying like merchandise and like posters and signs and like everything, etc. It was split between me, Ama, and Nana. So yeah,
Did you get a lot of donations?
yeah, I got a considerable amount compared to my opponent Leslie. Not as much as her, but I got like for what the campaign was like my first campaign. I was very glad with what I did, and I also was kind of like as like a campaign tactic. I wasn't trying to like I didn't like asking for money is not something I like to do, especially like that's another like scum. Like I guess like with politics, you kind of like you need money to like do stuff like this. But like in order to like, because my goal is like to just like try to engage people as most authentic way possible. I was like, please, like I was trying to like do not donate. I'm not going to ask you for money. If you would like to donate, please, then I'd be more than like happy with your donation. But like, please just spread the message, just share the post, take a sign, anything like that. And I just wanted people because people were giving me out like the the graciousness of their heart, which I truly appreciate. I got a lot more than I expected. I raised over $4,000, but I believe, but can't really remember off the top of the head. But it was I was just really trying to just get like the vote out there. People like, because with money, and money turns people off, especially in like these hard times. People like a lot of people are working double jobs. They're trying to make ends meet. They're just like they're really budget, especially like it's tough for a lot of people. So I just didn't want to ask for money when so much is already like on the line too. Because it was it's crazy, like crazy. It's just expensive. Everything's expensive now.
Mhm. I'm curious how you feel about like your relationship with your community now. Like, do you feel like even though you didn't win the campaign, do you feel like you gained a better understanding of what your community needs and like more, maybe a more integrated relationship with that community?
Yes, I doing this like it changed like just like because I grew up in Blaine. This it changed how I see like this place like forever. Like I've saw like I've walked to the streets of Blaine that like I never like thought I would walk to. I've seen like just like been to places all over Blaine that I never thought I would be. And I've talked to people that I'll like if I had never done this, I would never talk to, and I'll like most of these people I'll never talk to again. Just like the conversations I was having at like doors and just like in parks and stuff like that, they were truly like I would just hear people's stories about how they got to Blaine, where they ended up doing, why they came back to Blaine, because a lot of people move and come back, or they grew up in Blaine. It was just like hearing like just why people came here, why they chose to like raise their family here, why they chose to just move here. It's just like everybody has like some special like connection to Blaine, whether it's like something as similar to as a story to you that's odd, just like happened to buy a house here because it was a nice price and I liked the house, to like me like me and my wife like I had our daughter here, or we met in high school here or something like that. It's just like you would hear so much and be like Blaine is like it mean like we see it as just like this like just another place to live for ourselves, but it's like it means something, like it's our place of home. We live here, we care, like for lack of a term, we care about it because we live here, but also we've seen like we have like people that we know here, we spend our money here, we all do all that stuff. It's important to us. And I just saw like I opened my eyes really wide, and as well as like also in terms of like I had an interesting thought like when I was doing it too. I saw like I also seen like things that like I didn't like, such as like things that I could change. Like I talked to somebody who lived on they not a necessarily busy street. It was like a in like a deep in a neighborhood, but they said that a lot of people were speeding on it, and they would like they had kids who played on there, and they thought like, oh, maybe we could get like something speed deterrence, like speed bumps, or like just something to do like there, as well as just like another person. There's like a contention between like they had like a pothole outside their house, but they lived in like a trailer park, and I don't know what the association rules like for that where there's trailer park was specifically, but there was some dispute between who should fix the pothole outside of his house, whether it be the trailer park association or the city. And like, I from what I remember, neither were trying to take the blame for
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
so it's just like, it's just like things you hear people's both sides of the thing, not just good thing, not just bad things. And you be like, oh, I'm like, you never like, you just like, I don't know. It's just like it's all encompassing. It's all
Yeah.
encompassing.
It sounds like it really opened your eyes up to like how many different perspectives
Yeah.
are like looking at things. And
Mm.
I think it's really interesting that, even through the experience, not only did you learn campaign stuff, but like it gave you new eyes at a community in a place that you've lived your whole life. I think that's really
Hmm.
cool. And I think that for anybody who's listening who may be considering running in their own community, I think that within itself is a reason to maybe look at pursuing this, is just being able to really see where you live more clearly and grow in connection with that. I think it's really cool to hear some of that from you.
Hmm. It's like, and it's just like another thing, like, like every like place has like a reputation, and this taught me that Blaine is more. I knew this before then, but like it really honed it down. Blaine is more than its reputation, and you can say that
Yeah,
about any
some people
place.
call it Blaine Tucky.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. It's probably a little more outdated now, like as like the build out and stuff like that, because it's more suburban if anything now.
Yeah.
But like still, it's like yeah, it's more than its reputation. They're like good people live here, great people live here.
That's
And those
awesome.
people are worth like fighting for.
Yeah. So, what are you doing now? I think when I first emailed you a while back, you said you were still doing some community organizing, but I also know you've been in college. So, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
And what are you
So
trying to do in the future?
So as of recently, like in terms of community organizing, not anything like too like on the scale of a city council campaign. I've more been volunteering with like groups like through my college. I've been volunteering past few months with the Sable Center for Democracy and Citizenship and the Augsburg Campus Kitchen. And this is like more of like just volunteering that in the local like area, just like food shelves. Sable Center Democracy and Citizenship, they they do more of like just like voter engagement, more like just like civic and education and stuff like that. Just trying to like ever since like city council and I've had a more of interest with like getting involved with like the wider community, like just like Blaine included, but like just more the wider community, especially because I'm in Minneapolis a lot too. So I'm like, let me get involved with like both places I'm in. I That's what has been holding me through like the past like few months. I do want to like get like more like organized, like build a more like structured like thing and like kind of like not a city council campaign, but like just more like community oriented. Maybe not necessarily running for office again or anything like political like that, but still something that I can do what I would have done on city council. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still building that, and like once I figure more about that, I'm pretty sure to like let you guys know and just like yeah. In terms of other stuff, I've also like recently I'm not a part of this organization officially, and I've spread the petition around. There's this organization that my neighbor is a part of, which is I wrote it down somewhere just so I could quote them, called Parents for Good. It's it's an organization that's supporting children, families, and public schools. I'm not sure if they're all over the Twin Cities metro, but like I know they're really big in the school district I live in right now, which is Anoka Hennepin. That's where I went. I went to Blaine High School. They support children and families, public schools. They want to increase investment in public schools too. I also have this. There was a petition going around for a ballot for to put something on the November ballot to increase just trying to stabilize the Hennepin budget. It's the state's largest school district. They face $22 million in cuts, and they kind of just want to stabilize. They want to pass a funding levy or an operating levy, which will just stabilize the student budget and just make sure that because Anoka Hennepin historically has underinvested in its student like population compared to other districts, especially the ones surrounding us. And it will just bring it up to like speed and just make sure students are getting the support they need in schools because it's very important now. Like with so much going on and just like I just feel like the institutional we can all feel it too, like the institutional trust and decay with like in all the student like whether like local, state, federal, like all of our country. It's very important that like especially at home that our institutions are strong because like it's those are the things that built like public schools. Our good communities have like they rely on that stuff.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I spread that around. I tried to get as many people to sign it as possible. And yeah, but that's what their thing is going right now. And I think I'm not sure if they hit their goal, but they've gotten a lot of signatures.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you've continued to stay involved locally and in like the greater area, and you're partnering with other people who are pushing things forward and doing really good work. As far as your like long-term future, how do like the things that you're currently looking at and what you've experienced in your campaign, how's that informing what you think you want to do, I don't know, over the like next decade?
That's a good question. I definitely do want to like, I do want to keep on advocating for the common good. I really do. Cause like, that's very like, I have this quote, like, it's just like people be like, they're waiting around for somebody like else to do. It's like, oh, why doesn't somebody do this? Why does somebody do that? Why don't you like, you're like, it starts with you, you know? So like, like one more person, you know? Like, I just feel like it's very important to me just to get involved and try to help people. Cause this is work that you can truly see the fruition of it in your community, as well as like be like a party to it, as well as a patron of it. And I think I want to do something, just more something like, whether it be like, because at the end of the day, like everybody has like a career and stuff like that, but there's like, I want to do like it outside of that too, whether it could be my career, whether it be outside of my career, who knows? But I definitely like, and especially wherever I go, because like for instance, like let's say I move out of Blaine or like, I move out of Minnesota or like wherever life takes me. I was like, community is everywhere. Just because you're not in the same community every time doesn't mean you can't like, and you move to a different community doesn't mean you can't get involved for that community because you have no connection to the community.
Right.
Doesn't mean you can't still like do good by the community or do well. Yeah, you know. And so I just want to like, it's it's definitely on top. Like whatever I end up, that will be something that will be forefront of what I want, like my being or like how I show up.
That's awesome. As we've been talking about, like kind of looking forward, I do have a question kind of about like your foundations. You jumped into it the day before, not thinking that you would have, but then you ran with it and you did it. I don't know that everybody else would have, or anyone else would have responded in that same way. What kind of factors or support do you credit to your feeling like, yeah, I can do this? Were there people in your family? Was it part of your upbringing? How can we support more young people saying, yeah, I'm going to do this, even though I have no idea what to expect going into it? What do you think gave you the courage and the motivation to jump into it and to run it all the way through?
I guess because because I'm not gonna lie, like me to like going wanting to go through it all it's a very like up and down thing. I would say like my family for one, they were very like at first they were like when I first told them they didn't really understand it at first just because it was like I've never expressed like something like that before, but they were supporting me. They even helped like put flyers in like just like at people's doors on people's doorknobs and stuff like that, and so they were on board. It was just like and not everybody has that, so I'm not gonna say like that was the whole reason, but and that's will work for everybody, but they were a big supporter in my team, even though like I said, they weren't like the most qualified or like skilled in this like area of doing this. They stepped up and they put it all out there. They came with like the intention to like do good. They came with a goal. Whether they had the skills, they figured it out. They just like they came with an open mind and willing to like just like try and learn and to do better and do like just go out there. At the same time, I had to like make sure like because this is something like you're putting yourself out there. You're presenting yourself in a very like vulnerable and public way. Sorry, one second. You're presenting yourself out there in a public way. And so it takes like confidence and belief in yourself and like that, like, cause people are going to say stuff about you. Like there's like, it's not like as a big, like, you're not going to get like as much hate as you would have like if you're running for president or anything like that. But there are people still saying stuff out there, like whether it's being negative or whether it's like, just like about your something bad about like what you believe in or what your campaign or whatever. People are going to say stuff, just belief in yourself and like stability and just like self-worth that you are doing, like you are qualified, you are there, you would like you are here for a reason. Another thing is just like that I guess like that got me through it was having a plan, but that came later on cuz like as like I said before, like we were kind of like like until like August, September, cuz the last day to sign up was like the first week of June. For like almost 2 months, we were kind of just like fumbling our way, trying to figure out like trying to get our steam going. But like once we got that plan, we felt more confident because we were actually like driving with GPS. We actually had goals now. So just like making it achieve like visualizing the playing field helps. Just like knowing exactly what you're like looking at. Not exactly, but just like having an idea. That's an idea. And it's just like also, and then saying that, just grounding yourself in the experience, like it's whenever doing something new or just like daunting, it's very like easy to get into your imagination and be like, oh, this is like so like crazy. This is whatever. But like knowing that you're in a like you're on Earth. That's the best, like the best way to put it. You're on Earth doing this. You're not like, it's not crazy. It's you're on Earth doing this. You are, you can like, everything is there.
hmm
And I hope you understand what I'm saying, but like it's just like
Yeah. I'll sometimes tell my
yeah.
kids when they get overwhelmed, like, look at your feet. Like,
Yes,
you don't have to
exactly.
be time
Exactly.
traveling. We don't have to
Mhm.
to have all the solutions right now. Like, look at your feet. Where are you standing right now? Yeah.
Mhm. And that's like it's just really like important to do that stuff and just make sure like, hey, like don't get too lost in your head, like keep going, as well as like finding a like you won't have a plan all the time. you're going forward, you kind of have to like, something will happen. You have to like, oh, we have to do this or we have to do that. Go ahead and make the decision. And then like, sure, like mistakes will happen along the way, but like learning from the mistakes and then going forward to the next day. That's what matters. Just don't let it stop. Don't be stopped. Because if you get stopped, you're going to get pushed because life doesn't stop, you know? You have to keep going. And it was just like a factor of that stuff and just like those beliefs and values that got me going. Also, like I said, I did say belief in yourself. Just like, also like, you're doing, like, I guess in the case of this, because there's other people like you're doing this for, you're doing this for like a common good or what you believe to be a common good. Why wouldn't you want to see it out? So therefore, like, it's just like also hoping that like a better time will come ahead. So if like just a lot of factors.
Yeah, I love that. I love that the concept of like really grounding yourself in what you're doing, not only for yourself and trusting your abilities, not being afraid of failure, remembering that you're doing it for other people, and so it's worth finishing. I think those are all really great principles that we can all share and pass down.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love hearing like how it came through for you and how it's informed how you're moving forward. I think we can all really identify with being in a place of like, well, we don't really know what the future looks like or where we're going to be, but it really
Yeah.
sounds like this experience has informed you to know that you can go forward and have a presence and have a voice in whatever that is and wherever you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Because like that's
Awesome.
another thing too, like saying that like as much as like people saying like, oh, the world, like like not to like sound negative, but like the world isn't like waiting for people to like enter, and you have to like make that move in yourself, you know. And it's like that. You just have to like step in. Like if you want to do something, just do it. Like step in.
Yeah. So I have a friend, John, and he says just wang it, which is I think just bigger than winging it. And so you wanged it, you succeeded. I'm super impressed. I don't know if I would have been able to do something like that 24 years old. And I'm inspired result. And I really appreciate you being here to talk to us. And you gave us some juicy insider details on your story. And I think you'll help a lot of people who might be considering this in the future. And if either of you have anything to say, go for it. But yeah, that's all I just had to say. So I really appreciate you being here. Thank
Yes,
you so
thank you.
much.
I guess in closing, I'll say like I'll say this because this is when I did like the election day came and I ended up not winning. I will say this to whoever's watching: do not let the life or anything or wherever you like your circumstances, do not let that be decided by people outside, because you have a more than you have more than what it takes to get it done, and they don't want you to. Just because like people don't say you have what it takes doesn't mean you don't have it. You shall either find a way or make one, because it's if you have the will, it's up to you, and you deserve everything. People are fantastic, and you are more than capable.
I think that's a fantastic closing for us. Thank you again, Eni, for
Thank you.
joining us. We've really enjoyed this conversation. We hope you'll keep in touch and let us
Yes,
know
I
what you're
will.
working on. You also mentioned some local initiatives and some things that you're pushing forward, and we will share some of that as well so that if people are interested, they can look at those things as well.
Yes. Parents
Thanks
for
again
good.
to
Parents for good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're so grateful for our listeners. And as always, we just encourage everybody to stay curious.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. I enjoyed this conversation very much. Thank you. Great to meet you guys too.